Let's see if I can. What does it say? Okay, so we'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadgamlam Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagara Lalita Shri Vishakanatamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा let me share my screen. Share screen here. Okay, so today's verse is third canto 14th chapter verse 42 and 43. um, so first of all, I'll seek forgiveness for any mistakes that I commit, and anything, if at all good comes out, it belongs to my Guru Maharaj. With that, we'll start with the verse 3, 14, 42. So the way we will proceed is we'll read the two verses, 42 and 43, translation and purport, and then we'll discuss whatever we understood. So verse 3, 14, 42. 3, 14, 42. दितिरुवाच वदं भागवता शाक्त साक्षात् सुनाबहो भोदरा बहुना असासे पुत्रायोर्मह्यां मा क्रुद्धाद् ब्राह्मणाद् प्रभो. Once again. दितिरुवाच वदं भागवता साक्षात् सुनाभोदरा बाहुना असासे पुत्रायोर्मह्यां मा क्रुद्धाद् ब्रह्माणयाद् याद प्रभो. Synonyms. Ditiruvacha. Diti said, Vadham, the killing, Bhagavata, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sakshat, directly, Sunabha, with his Sudarshan weapon, Udara, very magnanimous, Bahuna, by the arms, Asase, I desire, Putrayoh, of the sons, Mahyam, of mine, Ma, never be it so, Krudhat, by the rage, Brahmanat, of the Brahmanas, Prabhu, O my husband. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Diti said, it is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with his Sudarshan weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahmana devotees. Purport. by Srila Prabhupada. When Diti heard from her husband that the great souls would be angered by the activities of her sons, she was very anxious. She thought that her sons might be killed by the wrath of the Brahmanas. The Lord does not appear when the Brahmanas become angry at someone, because the wrath of a Brahmana is sufficient in itself. He certainly appears, however, when his devotee, Lord's devotee, simply becomes sorry. A devotee of the Lord never prays to the Lord to appear for the sake of the troubles of miscreants cause for him, and he never bothers him by asking for protection. Rather, the Lord is anxious to give protection to the devotees. Diti knew well that the killing of her sons by the Lord would also be his mercy, and therefore she says that the wheel and arms of the Lord are magnanimous. If someone is killed by the wheel of the Lord and is thus fortunate enough to see the arms of the Lord, that is sufficient for his liberation. Such good fortune is not achieved by the great sages. We'll go to the next verse. How do you put this thing? Three. Okay. Next verse. Verse 43. Na brahmadand dagdhasya na bhuta bhayadasya cha bhayadasya cha narakasya anugrahan grahanati yam yam yonim asaugatah. Na brahmadand dagdhasya na bhuta bhagyadasya cha narakasya anugrahanyati yam yam yonim asaugatah. Synonym. Na, never. Brahmadanda, punishment by a Brahman. Dagdhasya, of one who is so punished. Na, either. Bhuta bhayadasya, of one who is always fearful to the living entities. Cha, also. Naraka, those condemned to hell. Cha, also. Anugranati, grananati, do any favor. Yam yam, whichever. Yonim, species of life. Asau, the offender. Gataha, goes. Translation. A person who is condemned by a Brahmana or is always fearful to other living entities is not favored either by those who are already in hell or those in the species of which he is born. Purport. Translation and purport both by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A practical example of a condemned species of life is a dog. Dogs are so condemned that they never show any sympathy to their contemporaries. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we'll come back to 42 and we'll uh, talk about whatever little we understood from this. So this is a very powerful verse. While preparing for this, I heard a couple of lectures and read some text, and there is a lot of content that can be spoken in this. So we'll keep. I'll just touch upon some of those. We may not be able to go into all of them, but just so that uh, anyone interested, they can go and read a little more, uh, little later. So this is the verse. We'll read the translation again, then we try and elaborate on it. Diti said, "It is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with his Sudarshan weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahman devotees." So here that conversation is going on, and when Diti heard that they will be killed by the personality of Godhead, she is kind of happy. And why is she happy? That Mm. First of all, she was anxious, like any other mother, um, because she is hearing that the sons they would create so much miscreants. They would be so much. They would be doing so much, um, so many bad activities that they would have to be killed by the Lord Himself. So she is kind of happy, and we'll see why she is happy. So it says here, Srila Prabhupada is writing. First of all, she thought that because they would be the sons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they would be doing so much, uh, they would be giving so much trouble to the Brahmanas. She thought that they would get killed by curse of the Brahmanas. So she was kind of not very happy about that. And why is that? That is because there are a couple of examples. So curse of a Brahmana, right? It's very powerful. Um, there are examples in Bhagavatam of King Vena when he commits offenses against the Brahmanas they go and curse him. And once he gets cursed, then what happens? Eventually he goes to the hellish planets, he goes to Narak and stays for many years, suffers through it. And Diti did not want her sons to be, caught up in the cycle of birth and death. Because, you know, somebody goes to hellish planets, then they do their prashchit for some time and then they come back and then the cycle continues. But when she heard that killing of both her sons would be by the Lord Himself, she became very happy. Why is she happy? Because when Lord kills someone or when Lord has to come to kill someone, the person does not go to just higher planets or lower planets. Um, it's like Brahmanas when they go and curse, somebody, falls to lower planets or something else happens. Um, but when Lord comes, there is a sure shot liberation. So worst case is Sayujya, which means the person will go and become one with the Lord. That is the lowest form of liberation. The highest is Golok Vrindavan. So there are examples of that also. Um, I can remember of three uh, from Bhagavatam, from Krishna book, from Lord Krishna's stories and pastimes. So one is Putana. So when Putana tried and attack Lord Krishna by his own plan, when she tried to kill him by becoming the caregiver or mother, she got placed to serve Mother Yashoda in Golok Vrindavan. So she got a motherly um, level of liberation. So her situation was very good. Um, Even though the way in which she approached was not favorable, but still, because she was killed by the Lord Himself, she got Golok Vrindavan. Similarly, these two, Agasur, Bakasur, now, there are so many other demons also killed, but because Lord had to put His hands or touch them, in Agasur, Lord actually walked in his mouth. In Bakasur, he again went into the beak of Bakasur and broke the beak and um, teared the mouth apart and killed Bakasur. So both of them, because they were personally killed by the Lord by his hands, they got um, Golok Vrindavan and very high level of liberation. They basically uh, do not have to fall into this cycle of birth and death. They got out. So that is why Aditi is very happy that she would be killed by the Lord Himself, and then they will become liberated. Now, the key element here is the impact of aparad against Vaishnavas, because that is what, or you know, Brahmanas or Vaishnavas. This is what the sons they said they would be um, doing, committing. And Diti knew, and of course she knows, and then it's given in Bhagavatam as well. Um, Vaishnava aparad or offenses against Brahmanas are very severe. Um, in our daily thing also, we always read, right? Don't commit offenses against Vaishnavas, don't commit offenses against Brahmanas. So here it's used interchangeably in that sense, um, with Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. So what happens with Vaishnavas is, um, the typical approach is somebody commits some offense against Vaishnavas or Brahmanas. Um, the Vaishnavas, they kind of are very compassionate in that sense. They think that whatever is coming is Lord's will, and it's coming because of their past life or past karma. And whatever was to happen, the Lord is reducing that magnitude to that punishment in magnitude, and then giving it to them, and they are just passing through their karmas, and that is how they are compassionate. But what happens is, this is what he says, Prabhupada writes, devotee never of Lord never prays to the Lord to appear for the sake of troubles the miscreants cause for him. He never bothers asking for his protection, but, or rather, the Lord is anxious to give protection to the devotees. So the Lord intervenes. Uh, we will read, or probably I'll speak a small story from Chaitanya Charitamrit on committing offenses against Vaishnavas. There are more examples. Um, what happened to Maharaj Daksh or Daksh Prajapati when he committed offense against Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnava, or the highest of the Vaishnavas. So he committed offenses against Lord Shiva, and then there is that Sati and Daksh Samvad, which comes in Bhagavatam as well. So Devi Sati, she explains in detail what happens to those who commit offenses against Vaishnavas. Um, the kind She goes on to explain what kind of offenses are committed, what are their repercussions, what kind of hells each of the people go into, and there are different kind of hells also that she goes and explains. Um, so there are hells where only insects bite. There are hells where a lot of other things happen, and she goes and explains in detail. There is a very long description of it. So for those who are interested, please look for Sati Samvad against with Daksha, and we'll find more details there. One more contemporary or more relatable um, offense against Vaishnava comes from uh, Chaitanya Charitamrit. So what happens is, Shiva's Pandit. So there used to be a lot of uh, so this night kirtan used to happen at Shiva's Pandit's house. We all know that. So 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 in Mayapur, in Navdeep at that time, um, near his house, so because it was a village, right? So everyone is related to everyone. So everyone is somebody's uncle, chacha, mama, and all that. Um, so there was a Brahman called Gopal Chapal. Now, what he did was, at that time, during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there used to be within, and it's even now, right? There is a lot of back and forth between different beliefs. So Vaishnavas, they believe little, they do different things. They focus on the Lord Vishnu and Krishna, and then there are Shaktas, or uh, Devi worshippers. So they have different perspectives, and each of them, Devi worshippers or others, they try and show that the other one is not very good, or they are the highest. So what this Brahman Gopal Chapal did was, he went to Shiva's Pandit's house, and he put those Devi worship things, vermilion and all those other things. in front of his house at night, and then he went out. So in the morning, everyone came and they saw. So he was what he was trying to say was this person um, is also a Devi worshipper. So Srivas Pandit, he got little upset, but then being a Vaishnava, right? What he said was, okay, I am a Devi worshipper. So what? I am fine. So people in the village, they understood. So they said, no, no, this is committed by somebody as a mischief. They put all this thing in front of your house just to make you look like you are a Devi worshipper and not a Vaishnava. This is not good. So they called some people, they cleaned up everything nicely, and then it was all gone. And Shivas Pandit, being who he is, he kind of forgot about it. Few days later, this person, Gopal Chapal, he got leprosy, and then he got leprosy, and he understood that this is this is because of some offenses that he committed against someone. So he was very sad. But he happened to be, I mean, he used to call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Nimai Pandit at that time, he used to call him Bhanja, or sister's son. So he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, "You are my sister's son. You do so many, uh, you liberate so many people, and you kind of cure a lot of people. So why don't you help me also? See, I got this." He said that he got this leprosy somehow. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got very angry. He said, "You know why this is there? Because you committed offense against Srivas Pandit, and because you committed offense against Brahmana." Against a Vaishnava. So you will not be liberated, or you will not get out of this. You'll have to suffer birth after birth for this offense. And then and then fast forward. So the person, obviously, Gopal Chapal, he did not have anything else to do. So he kept on suffering through. I mean, what is it that people can do? Uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after coming back, when he got, sorry, after coming back, when he became a sannyasi and then he came back, so this person, Gopal Chapal, again went to him and said, "See, this is where I am. Um, how much suffering more?" So what this person says is, so Gopal Chapal, he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He asked for forgiveness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I cannot forgive you. Only way you can be forgiven is by the Vaishnava against whom you committed that offense." He asked him to go to Shiva's Pandit, ask for forgiveness, and then if he forgives, then he will get fine. So he went, he fell on his knees, and then he asked for forgiveness from Shiva's Pandit. And Shiva's Pandit, being very compassionate, he kind of forgave him. And then the person, Gopal Chapal, he got cured. Um, so this is an example of, and this is a very visible example of what happens when offenses are committed against Vaishnavas. Being practicing devotees, we should understand that Vaishnava Aparadh is very severe, and there is a mention also of there are different levels of Vaishnavas and what we should do when we hear somebody blaspheming a devotee or a Vaishnava. We should either close our ears or kill the person or attack the person, whoever is doing it. If you cannot do both of them, then you should just walk away. These are very uh, practical ones, very simpler ones. But then for those who commit it, um, what happens is Vaishnavas are compassionate; they will not do anything, and those who commit, they think they got away with it. But and this is one conversation that Gaurang Prabhu, when he was in Naperville, and I was asking him something, and he mentioned, and this keeps coming to me at many occasions. I keep remembering this. He said that the lifespan of leadership roles in devotional service is very short. Those were his words. He said, in leadership role within devotional service, the lifespan is very short because invariably they end up committing offenses against practicing devotees and Vaishnavas, and that impacts them. Now, um, we should think about it. Being all of us being practicing devotees, we should try and stay away from Vaishnava Aparadha as much as possible. And we may not see, people may not see the immediate impact, but Lord sees, and the impact is there, and it keeps on going into that bank of karma and the Kutambijam and everything else. Um, so with this, I think the summary is that we should not commit offenses against Vaishnavas. They are very severe. The implications are very severe, and that is why Diti here is kind of happy that the child, the sons, they will be killed by the Lord, and not even, and they will be committing offenses against Brahmanas, but then eventually they will get liberated because they will be killed by the Lord. So with this, I think I have spoken whatever I had. Anyone wants to share anything? A couple of minutes, we can stop. Otherwise, we can close the call. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts, anyone? I know it's 7:59, and I have to, and I'm sure you all have to also get to your worldly duties.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
It's
Prabhu.
very interesting that Diti is happy when she heard that she sons are going to get killed by the Lord, but not the Brahmanas, right? Ratha Brahmanas. So, I
Yes,
mean,
Prabhu.
so that was very interesting. I mean, of course, you gave a couple of examples. So, I'm still thinking about it. I know they're going to get liberation and all, but I think they kind of committing the offense against the Brahmanas is very, very dangerous. There is no kind of coming back there. I mean, it's not going to be easy to come out. I mean, I know Gopal Chapala was able to do, but it was not easy actually. So, but
Yeah,
that was
in
good.
his case also, right? Because there was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Chaitanya
there.
Mahaprabhu is there, yeah. He
For
was
for
able to
us,
tell him.
there's
Yeah.
nobody. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was interesting. Thank you.
Mm. Okay, so if anyone has any other thoughts, they can share. Uh, if not, then I think we are good to close the call today. And okay, so we'll close the call, Prabhu.
Thank
Um,
you so much, Prabhu.
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत
Thank you so
कोटि
much,
वैष्णव वृंद
Prabhuji.
की जय।
Yeah.
Shri
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada की जय। हरे कृष्ण
Jai.
माता जी।
Jai.
जय।
Hare Krishna.